Hey everybody, today we are going to be going over a campaign I did using cold email that booked meetings with several billion-dollar companies for one of my partner companies. The partner is a software company in the safety vertical, and this campaign didn't really use AI, didn't really personalize the emails that much, and still performed exceptionally well. Some of the results here really quickly: $100 million a year Malaysian oil and gas contractor, $1 billion a year, 16,000 employee South American airline, publicly traded, a $100 million a year school bus operator, a $1.5 billion a year government-owned railway operator of a small European country. So these were just the meetings booked. Obviously, we had more interested replies that we still have to convert into meetings booked. I thought these were the cool ones that I could highlight. So the product is a software related to safety for industries that have hazardous jobs. Anyway, the offer produces TRIR, which is the KPI for the safety vertical, and incident costs is obviously the cost associated with those workplace incidents. So it reduced it by about 35% on average and reduces incident costs by 37% on average. So pretty incredible results. So they had case studies from actual industry leaders. I'm talking about when you look up biggest mining companies, they have done work for the ones that show up on Google, the billion-dollar giants. So that makes my job easy to do the marketing for them. Anyway, their ideal client profile is EH&S professionals, chief safety officers, HR, and hazardous industries. So first email we sent out in the mining campaign had a 6.84% reply rate on just that first email. So just to be clear, the whole campaign didn't have that reply rate. It was much higher just on the first email, which to be fair is the bulk of the replies, but it's not all of them. So, hey, first name, our partners help mining companies, including Anglo American and Glencore, cut their incident rate by an average of 35% by implementing a patented 60-second game that flags fatigued workers. Would you be interested in a brief demo of how it works and more real-life examples? So you'll see that this is a very short 2-sentence email, literally 2 sentences, and that is what works best when you are emailing people that get 200 emails. If you want to stand out, you need to get your point across very, very quickly. So you can see, first thing we do is help industry companies. So instantly you're thinking, okay, this is for me. Second thing, including Anglo American and Glencore. If you look up right now, biggest mining companies. Okay, here it is. You will see, here's Anglo American. Is Glencore on here? Yeah, Glencore. 256 billion. Anyway, we mentioned 2 names that they're going to know by heart. It's like if you worked in tech and they mentioned Google and Apple, you would instantly know, okay, these guys are big shots. Cut their incident rate by an average of 35%. So what did we do for them? And then how did we do it? Implementing this. Would you be interested in how it works? Brief demo. People don't want to be on the phone with you for 45 minutes. It needs to be brief. They are very, very busy. And how it works, just show you how it works. No big obligations. I'm not trying to sell you anything. And more real life examples, you know, how could it be implemented into a company like yours? Next thing, airlines. So we went after airlines as well, and also related airline industries. So that could be the under the wing subcontractors of those airlines. That could be aviation companies, you know, the little trucks you see running around and the people you see running around on the airport that aren't actually a part of the airline. So Delta Airlines, largest airline by revenue, has mandated our partners' patented 60-second game that flags fatigued workers. And then again, 35% drop in TRIR, which is the KPI for safety professionals. And you can see I spelled out total recordable incident rate. Even though a lot of these people will know what it is, other countries have different words for what is essentially incident rate. So spelling it out makes it very clear to anyone who's in a different country that might use a different acronym or a different phrase that, you know, this is what we're referring to. Would you be open to a brief call? See if you could help with your team's safety too. So this is another nice way of phrasing the CTA, help with your team's safety. You're emailing people whose job it is to keep people safe. So someone's saying, you know, the biggest airline, the biggest company in your industry has implemented this, and in fact has mandated this, and here are the average results, you know, 35% less workplace incidents. Yeah, you should definitely check out. Let's see if this can help our team's safety. Another one, this one was a 2-sentence variant, sort of like this mining one, and I put in this piece, our partners help companies who prioritize safety, including most recently Delta Airlines. So it's just a nice way of mentioning Delta Airlines and then saying who prioritize safety, kind of pulls on the heartstrings a bit. Like, yeah, I prioritize safety. Of course I do. It's my job. Not all the companies actually do in practice, but if you're emailing the head of safety, it's their fucking job out to be prioritizing safety. And then the same CTA here. And then oil and gas, literally basically the same as our mining one. We just changed the case study companies, changed it to Abu Dhabi National Oil and Norsk Hydro, which are two huge oil companies. Norsk Hydro is the oil of Norway, and Abu Dhabi National Oil is obviously for, Abu Dhabi, the UAE there. So huge giants that would be recognized by any oil and energy company. So it's going to work. And the beauty of this is that this is why you should work with companies and do marketing for companies that actually have good solutions, that have actually been tested among the biggest companies in the world, because it's very rare that you're going to have a billion-dollar company say, oh yeah, we'll be the first ones to test this. That takes a lot more convincing than saying your competitor's already doing this, so do you want to look into doing it as well? That's way different type of sell. That requires a lot less effort. That said, a lot of you watching this right now might be thinking, well, I haven't worked with billion-dollar companies. I haven't tested it with huge companies. That's fine. Your case study doesn't have to be a billion-dollar company if your customer isn't a billion-dollar company. In fact, it shouldn't be. If your customers are companies that are doing 1 to 5 million a year in revenue, you shouldn't hit them with a case study saying you did work for Coca-Cola, who's doing billions of dollars a year in revenue. That will do more harm than good. You should hit them with a case study that says we did work for a company that was doing $3 million a year in logistics industry. If they're in the logistics industry, that will work way better than saying we did work for Coca-Cola. It might sound nice to give yourself credibility. We work with a huge company, but if you go to a small company and you say that, it just makes them think either these guys are expensive as hell or it's not going to work for me because they're using it on billion-dollar companies. I want stuff that works for companies that are like me, or a combination of the two. So it actually hurts you more than it helps you. The only reason I use these big billion-dollar case studies is because I'm going after big billion-dollar clients. So next one, transportation. This had a 7.2% reply rate on just the first email, which is pretty impressive. So Washington, D.C. Metro implemented our partner's patented 60-second game that flags fatigued workers, helped them see a 40% reduction in incidents. So this one's a little bit different than the other ones only because I actually had a result here specific to them. Now you'll notice the other ones might have come off as if they had, Abu Dhabi National Oil had specifically saw a 35% reduction in incident rate. But that wasn't true. What I said was an average of 35%. What that means is across all the clients, 35% is the average reduction in incident rate. I didn't have specific numbers for, say, Norsk Hydro or Abu Dhabi National Oil. So I had to work around that. Now, if you do have specific numbers, which most of you should, if you are running your own company or you have published case studies, you should make it very clear. This is the result this person got. I had to be more creative here and not do that. But if you have that, leverage it. And then again, cross the fill in the blank here industry, using it leads to this result on average. Would you be open to a demo? Very simple script. Literally, it doesn't get more simple than this. It's 3 sentences long. And then on the follow-up here, hope you're doing well. Just circling back on my previous email. Would you be interested in helping and seeing how this helped other firms in industry cut incidents 30-40%? Let me know if you or any other, and then job title, staff are available for a quick meeting. This is not a great follow-up simply because it's just a testing campaign. Usually I like to include some kind of value here, offering additional value, but this is just a basic copy-paste follow-up, and it still had a 5% reply rate. Reason for that is I threw in this, again, you got to remind them of the value of this. Interested in seeing how this helped other firms in your industry do XYZ. Remind them of the value, remind them of what you're offering. Don't just say, just circling back on my previous email, what do you think? Because then they have to go back and read the other email. With this will intrigue them enough. Oh, cutting incidents 30-40%? What was this guy talking about again? And then he'll check the first email. If you don't do that, he has no reason to check the first email. He or she has no reason to check the first email, and they're going to ignore you. And then this last part, sometimes I like to throw this in. Maybe they don't want to take the meeting themselves. They're too senior in the company. So they'll throw you a meeting with someone who's a little bit lower down, and you can work your way up as the sales team. So that is something I like to do. It's optional, but you or any other, and then whatever department they're in, staff. That is a nice little touch to add to your follow-up emails. So anyway, 6 to 11% overall reply rates for the overall campaigns, and they're not even finished yet, but the bulk of the replies come in with the first two anyway. Without personalization, besides first name, without using AI, just emailing the relevant job title, the relevant person with the relevant case study, and the relevant offer in 2 to 3 sentences. So that is it. Don't overcomplicate it. These are 2 to 3 sentence emails. They work. You send enough of these, you get a lot of meetings, you generate, hopefully, a lot of revenue. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me on X, follow me on all the platforms I've got linked in the description there. I also leave a link to all the technology I use for my outbound marketing. And yeah, good luck in your prospecting. Bye-bye.